and a half. Boom. All right, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Business Bros, and we're going to get ready to rock this one. If you've ever tried to advertise or grow your company, then this is the episode you're going to want to pay attention to. So let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, business bros, let's get ready to revolutionize your lead generation game. Today's guest has helped businesses worldwide increase conversions and master personalized client experiences. As the Chief Revenue Officer at Scoreapp, he's led his team to multiple international awards, including gold for disruptive innovation in professional services. So buckle up for an incredible conversation with none other than the one and only Mr. Maxwell Nee. All right, Max, let's do this thing, man. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Let's do this. Okay, so first of all, we're in very similar backgrounds here. And let's kind of simplify this as easy as possible. For those of us who've just maybe started as an entrepreneur, we maybe not know what marketing, conversions, click-through ratio, like all these different vocabs. If you can simplify what it is that you do for like a fifth grader to understand, what do you help companies do?
Yeah, so we help businesses all around the world, especially digital ones, attract warm leads into their business. So a warm lead is someone that's put their hand up and they've said, hey, I'm interested to buy what you have to sell.
That's ideal. Because I always picture when I talk to different people who are learning about marketing, it's one thing to stand on the corner and just kind of yell out, hey, I have this product or service to offer, versus looking out in the crowd and saying, hey, I got this cool, who's interested? And then only talking to the people with their hands up. Now, it sounds good in theory to have a crowd and just talk to the people who has their hands raised. But how do you do that in the digital space? How do we talk to the people who have their hand up when they literally don't actually have their hand in the air?
Yeah, so that's the magic sauce, right? So, lead generation online is a really, really powerful skill. Once you've mastered it, once you know how to do it, you could be sitting on a beach in Bali and, charging $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to clients in New York City, right? And I've done exactly that for many, many years. So in essence, if you want someone to give you something, information about them, what they want from you, how much they're willing to pay, how soon do they want it, their name, their phone number, their email, so that you can put them onto your database, so that you could warm them up or keep them in contact whenever you've got a new product launch, right? Then you need to offer them something. So it needs to be a win-win. So there needs to be a value exchange where you give them something in exchange for their information. Now, the most powerful win-win exchange we've found to be able to give to businesses is a personalized experience. Now, personalized experiences are great. We've all had them before, but typically they're very time consuming, right? So, for you to jump on a 15-minute connection call, intro call, discovery call, even a group workshop call with people takes 15 minutes of your time, right? And you only have 15 minutes in 15 minutes. But what if you had a tool that used AI to give a personalized report for each and every person based on questions that they answered in their own time, and you could send that out to 10,000 people. So you've multiplied your time by 10,000. So that's what Scoreapp does.
That is the leverage that we're looking for, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, we only have 24 hours in a day. I only am able to contact a certain amount of people if I have to pick up the phone and call, if I have to send text messages, if I have to send emails. But we live in an age where that automation can get done for us. Now, we live in a world where when you say AI, people have different ideas of what that is and even what that does. We're still not at a point where AI is going to, take out the trash for us, but there are certain things that AI can definitely do and help I guess, put processes in place. My issue is when I'm talking to clients, there's always an expectation that they come in with the thought of what they think automations and AI are compared to what we can actually offer. What kind of pushback do you get? What kind of objections do you get when you're talking with clients? How do you overcome those?
Yeah, great question. So, I just show them, right? So our product, there's different tiers. There's free, there's $50 a month, there's 100, there's 150, so it's not expensive. Like you probably pay more for this streaming software that we're using right now, in some cases, right? So what we use AI to do is, let's say, who's your target audience? I'll take you through the example. Who's
Yeah.
your specific target
So
audience?
for me, it's startup entrepreneurs, people at the beginning. They got an idea, they want to take it to that next level.
Okay, cool. Startup entrepreneurs, perfect. So the AI wizard will ask you, who's your target audience? Startup entrepreneurs. What do you help them with? Is it operations? Is it sales? Is it branding? Is it just overall business coaching, mentorship? And then it'll take that information and then put it into a marketing campaign for you. So it'll write a marketing campaign for you. So it'll write questions that you could ask to pull information out of your clients. It'll write about 6 to 7 hours of copywriting for you. And then all of a sudden, you've got your own personalized scorecard. You've got the Business Bros personalized scorecard done in 5 minutes that used to take a day.
Easy, if not more, because sometimes just sitting down and coming up with brand colors and schemes you can go into the black hole abyss there and just spend so much time doing that stuff. To have AI come in and kind of wrap that stuff up and make it, usable. Now, you talked about the ad copy. So when it's helping you come up with ad copy, are we talking landing pages? Are we talking about text message campaigns? Are we talking about email campaigns, workflows? Like, what is it helping us do all those separate things, or is it kind of giving us a summary where we can kind of extrapolate from there?
Yeah, good question. So Scoreapp is a bunch of apps all put together. So think of it as like ClickFunnels meets SurveyMonkey. So it's a quiz marketing platform. So it gets questions out of people, and then it delivers a personalized report. So it's even got the follow-up email number 1, right? So it's ClickFunnels, SurveyMonkey, follow-up email number 1. And because it has the emails, it's essentially a CRM as well. So it's a CRM on top of all that type of stuff. So, the value is crazy, getting all that for free, then $50 a month as the first plan is crazy.
It is. Now, I talk to the entrepreneurs that are at the beginning space, and oftentimes when you talk to entrepreneurs at that level, they have a particular skill set that they've decided to kind of venture off, or a problem that they're going to venture off and solve on their own, but they're not necessarily in tune with what it takes to operate a business. And you mentioned how this is kind of a couple different types of programs and apps all in one. How does a customer, or how does a business owner really kind of grasp what they need in their business when at the beginning they kind of don't know? Their idea of getting clients is usually referrals, not really outbound or inbound lead generation. Is this a conversation that you have to kind of extrapolate on with clients, or because I love the demo idea, that's literally the way I do things as well? Or what's the conversation? I guess my question is really, what's the conversation like to get started with a business owner? Are you using a lead generation strategy that you teach them to generate leads yourself, or are we kind of going a different way there?
Yeah, so we help them to master lead generation in their own business. So there's a lot of education, right? And we love educating entrepreneurs. One of our mantras in-house, like in the team, is we force our clients to be successful, right? Because no one likes learning new stuff. No one likes trying new stuff. No one likes going back to school again in the business world and just constantly staying up to date with AI and all that type of stuff. So we've got a blog, we've got a YouTube channel. We've got, weekly webinars to help you get set up. We've got, obviously the Instagram page pushing out content. We've even got a best-selling book. So we've got a book that I can get a free copy of this out to everyone, actually,
Nice.
That's listening to the podcast, as long as you're in a country that we can get it out to. If not, you get the PDF. But, this book is super, super short, super sweet. It's like smaller than A5. It's 170 pages. And It educates you on how it works, why it works, and how you can use it.
Now, one of the things that that I know people look for is a higher conversion rate. Once you understand what a conversion rate is, you're always going to shoot for that higher conversion rate. Now, there are different ways to kind of grow that conversion rate. One of the ways that you guys have talked about is using lead magnets to kind of increase that conversion rate up to 40%. Can you tell me what is a lead magnet, and then how do you use that to increase conversions?
Yeah, good question. So a lead magnet is a request for information, right? So it might be submit your email and receive this 10% coupon code. We see that on e-commerce websites a lot. It might be, submit this quiz and then, we'll send you out a report. It might be submit your email and we'll send you out a free mini course, like 5 videos to help you get to where you want to go in your business, in your life, in your personal training. It might be something physical. It might be, hey, look, submit here. And I know that Vivino, the wine app, used to have, if you submit, 5 pictures because they needed more pictures of wine, that they'd send you out a corkscrew, right? So it's anything that gets you to give information. That's a lead magnet. So it's magnet for leads, right? And a typical lead magnet will convert at, maybe 10, 15% on a landing page. Now, because Scorecards and quiz marketing offers personalized reports, client engagement, and it even scratches the itch of vanity, right? Because it's like, hey, discover what your score is in terms of top podcasts in the world, right? Discover what your score is in terms of your body fat percentage, right? Or whatever that is. Discover your business efficiency score. Because it marries all that together, what it does is that it generates a typical conversion rate of about 20 to 40%, which is, more than double the average rate.
I'm over here going to talk and I said my mute on. I got a dog barking in the background. Sorry about that. So when increasing conversions, there are a lot of things. I mean, lead magnets are obviously the greatest thing that you can utilize. It's an exchange. It's that trade. It's helping give that customer something in exchange for their name, email, and phone number. And oftentimes I feel like their companies don't always have something that they can give away. You have a book, for example. You can send it out as a hard copy or as a PDF. And there are a lot of companies that struggle with coming up with something that they can give away. Is there any advice you can give for like brainstorming on things that they can use to make for a good lead magnet? And what and on second on part on that, what makes a good lead magnet? What is that thing that's going to help increase that conversion?
Yeah, so the concept, right? Some people know this is the hook. So the value proposition does 90% of the heavy lifting. So one really typical value proposition lead magnet in the scorecard world that you might have seen is, find out which body type you are and the exact exercises you need to reach your summer goals, right? So it's personalized, it's individualized, and it helps you to find out what not to do, right? So you don't waste any time, which is very compelling for people. So that's one example. So it's just that initial concept and that overarching hook that does most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, I think Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels had a great one. Hook, story, offer. The way he kind of structures it, and that overarching hook makes a big difference. You've been able to help a lot of different companies achieve success with their marketing strategies, which means they either were struggling beforehand or they didn't have anything beforehand to help them reach that level of success. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see companies making in their lead generation efforts, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I think that a lot of companies are, not digitizing their business, right? So they might have something on their website saying, click here to book a call, right? And then the call booking process is like sending an email. There's no calendar to book the call. And then there's also no content or educational quick wins that they offer for their clients. Because when someone's sitting there and they want to engage with you and they want to learn a bit more what they want to do, they want it now, right? They don't want to wait 24 to 48 hours to have that call. They're going to forget what their questions are. But if you could have a lot of digital assets on your website, like personalized reports, like stats, like videos, then that all helps to do 1 to 5% of the heavy lifting before they even speak to you. And then when they're speaking to you, they're not asking, what do you do? They're asking, how much does it cost, right? They're asking buying questions.
Yes.
They've already gone on that buying journey in their own time. So, it's a bit counterintuitive, but the magic of lead generation happens before the lead is generated, right? It happens in the ocean of like educating the market and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and this is why when we started this conversation earlier, and I asked you about how you're acquiring customers, you said I showed them. It's the demo. It's literally applying. I don't know how to say it. It's the secret, right? You show them the secret, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, this guy knows what's up. I want some of that. How do I get what you're showing me? And I think that's the lead generation process.
Yeah, and think of it as like, so in the digital world, there's a lot of words, right? There's lead magnets, there's funnels, there's emails, there's data lists or whatever. So I always like to relate it to the physical world. So in the physical world, if you want to buy a car, you don't have, like, if you want to buy a Mercedes, you don't have 20 Mercedes guys saying, hey, book a call, and then I'm going to describe you the car. As soon as they possibly can, they want to put the keys in your hand and they want you to do a test drive, right? And they want you to sit there and see and smell the leather, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to do that and translate that experience into your website, right? Or your LinkedIn page or your podcast or your Instagram or whatever. And you just got to use digital tools and assets to do that.
I teach a class called financial algebra. I have high school seniors, and all of them are learning these tactics. So they learned how to create ad copy. They learned how to use Canva to create different types of creatives, whether visual or just image. They've learned how to create landing pages. They learned how to create text and email automations. My question for you is, once you learn the technical aspect of being able to create those things, what would be that next step? If you could give a 17-year-old student advice, now they have those skill sets, how do they build an agency successfully? Because I feel like at the point where they're at right now, they know stuff. They just don't have the confidence yet to stand in front of a client and say, I can give you these results. How did you help overcome that for yourself and maybe give advice to new agency owners or new people in the marketing space getting ready to talk to their customers?
Yeah, so I relate this. So customers, people, business, interacting with people is all the same. So it's the same as if you're selling something, it's the same as in dating, right? So I think about what not to do in dating. So in dating, you're going there and you're trying to meet someone that you like, and they're making you nervous because you really like them. What you don't want to show, it's okay to show nerves, but what you don't want to bring into that type, what type of energy you don't want to bring into that interaction is neediness, is desperation. It's not, you don't have to be super confident in yourself, but don't give off the impression that you undervalue yourself, right? Because everyone can feel that, and that doesn't work. So yeah, nerves are normal, but undervaluing yourself, being needy, being desperate doesn't need to be normal. So leave that at the door.
The commission breath is what we're saying, right? That whole idea of it's all about me. I want to get paid. I want to make sure I have my monthly, and that kind of talk, even if you're not saying it directly, when you're talking to a client, they sense it. I know you've sensed it whenever you go buy a car or something like that. When you're talking with somebody who is trying to figure out what the best needs of the client is versus I'm trying to make a sale. And I love that like little analogy you're going with there. When building an agency, you said you were able to, do it from anywhere, which is one of the sexiest aspects of building a digital agency. What is the unsexy part of building the agency? What is the hard part that people don't get told about that they probably should know?
Yeah, so I used to own a digital marketing agency, so I know this topic pretty well. And what I would say is that, uh, you know, it's very rare that someone's good at everything. So a business owner is essentially a salesperson until they get to build a team. Like they have to be, otherwise they're not going to succeed. And they might do it in their own way. They might do it more extrovert, more introvert, less, more, right? But it needs to be done. It doesn't matter who you are, it needs to be done. So people that don't like asking people for money, obviously find it really, really hard. And if you don't like asking people for money, then you probably, you might want to consider other options, right? And then there's the other aspect, which is, once you've taken someone's money, then you've got to deliver, right? You want to deliver, you want to have a good name, a good reputation in the market. So delivery is a completely different skill set to sales, right? It's systems, it's operations, it's looking at numbers on a spreadsheet, it's looking at conversion rates, percentages, and that you need both the front of the house and the back of the house. And if you have a weakness in one or the other, then you need to round that out. You need to talk to a business coach, right?
Let me ask you about the conversions aspect of it. I mentioned earlier, there's different ways to measure conversions. And I think oftentimes people measure the conversion versus the sale a little bit differently, especially when it comes to lead gen. How do you overcome the conversation of sales numbers versus lead generation numbers? Do you overcome it, or is it part of your package? Like, how do you kind of distinguish between the two?
Yeah, so you got to get clear about what you're offering, right? So if you're running an agency, I know agencies that just sell book calls. They sell book calls for $50, $100, $200, right? It's the lead has been generated because there's interest, right? Interest because they booked the call and they have to show up, right, for them to get paid. And then I know people that just help people generate leads. They might charge maybe $10, $20, $30 per lead, and then they've got to book the call, right? And then I know people who go all the way to the other end and they do a revenue share on a completed sale, right? And those are typically people that do events, because events have a higher conversion rate. If you get someone in the room, then they've 70% ready to buy because they've made all that effort, right? So it just depends on again, like where your strengths are, where you want to focus, what you want to sell. Some people only believe in selling book calls because they think that's enough. Some people only believe in generating leads, or some people only believe in selling, managing ads for other people, right? Mm-hmm. So, but what it comes down to is who. I would look at it a different way. Right. So what you want to make sure you always do is you want to make sure that you've got a competitive advantage. So, let's say you're in an industry where everyone is only building the funnel, only building the sales funnel. No one's running the ads. So why not be the first person that runs the ads and builds the sales funnel, right? Or why not be the person that, if you are good at sales, why not bring in the first, do the first 10 sales calls for them and give them a bit of sales training as well as generate the leads, right? And then you get to charge more because you're providing more service. So it's about like, how can you provide a unique, win-win-win business model that really differentiates you. That's what's interesting for me. It's people that think a little bit more innovatively about differentiating themselves with a competitive advantage.
Where do you see the future of lead generation, customer personalization, and how businesses kind of prepare and how Scoreapp is kind of going to go here in the future. Where's the future of all this digital marketing, and where do you think your company's going?
Yeah, great. So we have about 6,200 paying clients right now. So it's a pretty big business, clients in like 150 countries. 150 people registering for a free account, plus paid accounts, every single day. So we're growing pretty fast. And what I see happening is, lead generation is so competitive. Like it's crazy. What works today, people weren't even thinking about 2 years ago. And what was working 2 years ago, no one uses today, right? So you've got to constantly be innovating. You've got to be getting those conversion rates. You've got to be adding extra value to the consumer as quickly as possible. Like you've seen those ads where there's an e-commerce brand and they set a budget for $1 million of free trials, and they just give out free trials worth, $5-10 and just post them out to people, right? Maybe for like skincare, right? So people are constantly increasing the bar, and competition's constantly getting higher. So, what you want to be doing is you want to be, in my opinion, getting back to grassroots. What will people never get bored of? They'll never get bored of more service. They'll never get bored of personalization. They'll never get bored of a product that's easier and easier and easier and easier to use, and more customer service. So our products, we do live workshops with Q&A with real people, every week, right? So, and then we do promotional workshops where we share new strategies, like at least once a month. So it's not just like you're submitting a help ticket to like a database of tickets and then people get an automatic response. It's a hybrid world of a digital, totally online product and team, and then like what I like to call like that 5-star hotel service that you could possibly give to your clients.
Give me the AI, but let me talk to a human when I have questions. Right?
Exactly. That's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind talking to AI when things are going great. It's when I have an issue, I'm like, give me the human. Let me talk to somebody. I can't even order at McDonald's anymore without having to go through the screens. Max, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Before we head out, with over 6,000 customers, 150 people signing up for the app, whether it's free or paid every single day, there's people out there who want to know more about what you do. They want to get involved. They want to start increasing their conversions. How can they do that?
Yeah, so the website is scoreapp.com. And, if you want a free copy of our book and to dive into the thought and everything, then jump onto Scoreapp, SCOREAPP.com/book. And you'll get a physical copy if we can get that out to you. If not, then you get a PDF.
Boom, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Scoreapp. It's time for you to score, right? It's time for you to start increasing those conversions, to get out there, put your name out there. I always heard this saying and I loved it. Secret agents have skinny kids. It's in the real estate space. It's because if you have a license and nobody knows you exist, you don't make any money. That's true for every single business. You got to get your name out there. You got to put your information so that other customers can find you. And if you don't know how, this is one of those spots where you can go and get the education you're looking for. The book, the PDF, the in-house people, 5-star hotel people helping you through the process. That's what you're looking for. So make sure you guys go to scoreapp.com, and make sure you guys check that out. Max, thank you very much for being on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thanks. Cheers.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast, but not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started.